Hello, Philip Dearborn here. I trust you had a wonderful Easter break over the last several days, spending time with family and friends. And this is the end of the semester, so I trust the last few weeks of your semester will go well. I'm looking forward to sharing in chapel this week on Wednesday. It's rare that Josh Beers gives me the opportunity to speak in chapel, so I take up every opportunity that he does give to me. But we'll be talking this week about a journey that the college and I have been on over the last several months. I'll be sharing about the recent TLC flood and the damage that happened there, and how God taught not only the college some lessons, but also me personally. I love the book of Joshua. Joshua is full of great examples of a young leader who's under the fire of some tremendous responsibility. And right away in the book of Joshua, in chapter 4, I believe it is, where Joshua, right after he crosses the Jordan River with the Israelites, he does something. God asks him to set up a memorial, a pile of rocks, to remember what God had done, so that generations could look back and see how God blessed the nation of Israel by bringing them over and through the Jordan River. So on Wednesday, I'll be building a pile of rocks, not literally, but we'll be rehearsing what God did do over the last several months as we walk this journey of disaster in the TLC. My challenge to you as we begin the week is to ask yourself the question, what memorials have you set up in your life? What pile of rocks exists in your life to remember times in your walk that God did something amazing? For me personally, a big pile of rocks dates back to my 11th grade year in high school. At the time, I was diagnosed with a disease called viral labyrinthitis. It basically affected the middle ear and threw off my balance. It put me in bed for about a 6-month period of time, and during that time, I received homebound instruction through my high school. I'd been a Christian pretty much all of my life, been raised in a missionary kid family in the country of France. So I always knew about God, but had yet made it something that was more of a relationship. And during that time of sickness, my pastor, Rich McCarroll from our church, visited me often. And it was through those experiences of him visiting and him challenging me that I grew significantly in my walk with the Lord. At the time, I was trying to decide what college I should go to. And my sisters had gone to Messiah College, and I was headed in that direction as well. And Pastor McCarroll asked me a very critical question that is my pile of rocks. He said, are you going to live your life to please yourself, or are you going to live your life to please the Lord? Answer that question, and your future will be made straight. Well, I really wrestled with that. And that was a pivotal time in my walk with the Lord where I made the determination that I wasn't going to live for myself, that I was going to live to please God. And every aspect of what I did was to please Him. So at that point, I decided that I would serve the Lord with my life, not just in a church setting, but also with my occupation. That's my pile of rocks. But what are some defining moments for you? What are some pile of rocks in your life? If you don't have any, I really challenge you to make that a practice. Pause long enough after God teaches you something so that you remember specifically what it is that God taught you. Do something, get something tangible to demonstrate what God did for you. If you're ever up in my office, and I encourage you to stop by, I have a number of shelves and a lot of knickknacks on the shelf. Some of them are silly, some of them are sports related. But there are a number of knickknacks on that shelf that represent defining moments in my life, points where God taught me lessons. And I find myself often referring back and looking at some of those things, remembering what God did in my life. Well, I'm looking forward to interacting with you in chapel on Wednesday. And until then, I trust you have a good week.